it's Amanda here from DMG, and today we're going to be looking at the Tomb Raider guides. These are the Trilogy produced by Prima Games. Now we're going to take one at a time in the video, so I'm going to do one video on each guide. And although I said they are Prima guides, technically this first one is by Brady Games. However, Brady and Prima are both owned by Penguin Books, and back in 2015 Brady and Prima both merged together and became Prima Games. So this is, although this one is technically published under Brady, it still is really now a Prima guide, so you may find it listed as either if you look for it. These are all old books now, but I did notice when looking for this myself that it was listed as either, so just to clear up that confusion. So let's get on and look at these books one by one. Okay, so we've got here the first one in the trilogy, which is obviously this sort of revamped trilogy that we've had that started quite some time back now. It's quite an old game. So as I said, this is a nice hardback book. We've got nice coated paper, reasonable thickness. So as always, when I go through these guides, I will do my best not to give any spoilers away, just in case, on the off chance there's somebody who hasn't yet played these. So what I will do is, as I go through the sections, I will start at the keep at the beginning of them, show how they're laid out, etc., which hopefully won't give too many spoilers away, because obviously that will be at the beginning of the actual game, so you're going to get to that part really quickly anyway. So first of all, we've got just a sort of introduction page with just a little bit of artwork on again here, and then we've got our index. So it just basically is going to go through like an introduction, survival guide, survival skills, survival gear, survivors, enemies. Survivor is born, so that will be your actual let's play, as it were. Then collectibles, multiplayer, achievements and trophies, and extras. So that's your sort of basic what's included. And so here we have beautiful artwork, which hopefully you can see because it's so shiny, and just a little introduction. And I love that image where she's leaping across like that. It's a very classic image, isn't it? And then we've got the guide. So this is just telling us literally the controllers. They look so old now, don't they, these particular ones? But anyway, it's still essentially the same. So it will give you that layout there, which is handy. And then it's just giving into the sort of actual specifics of movement, scrambling up the wall, climbing, etc., with some nice artwork again. And I love this kind of background art as well behind each sort of actual written piece, and that looks quite nice. Then using your map, survival skills, documents, relics, etc. So just lots of stuff which I don't want to go too much into again, because some of these things come later in the story, so I don't want to give anything away, as I said. So then we've got our skills. So it's just explaining about how the skill tree works, and then for example, one of the skill tree elements is survivor, and it then just goes into what each one is and details on what those specifics are. Just a little baby paragraph. Again, I'm not going to show you that, I don't want to spoil it, but it's not a massive skill tree in here anyway. And then we're into, whoops, I missed a bit, into the gear. So again, it's just going into a little bit of an introduction and then specific items in the gear. So if I just show you here, for example, a torch, we can't really get much more basic than that. So it just says where it's obtained and how you, more details of obtaining it, etc. So then and it does the same for different items there as well, and it goes all the way through. And you've got here about the upgrades. So with the bow, we always know that she's going to have a bow, so it just tells you the different types of bows and then the upgrades that are available on that as well. So again, probably not massively of telling you anything. Fire arrows, so it just explains where you get them and how to switch around, etc. So it's just giving you that kind of information. So that's kind of helpful. So that's all your gear, so it goes through to that. Then we go to the section called Survivors. Again, some lovely, lovely artwork, which I always really enjoy looking at this and seeing all the artwork that you get. So again, here we've got some nice images. We've got details here at the bottom about, obviously this one is Lara, again not really giving anything away here, so it's just going her name, her age, her occupation, and a little bit of her story across the bottom there. So that's her, and then there's other people as well, and I'm not going to go too much into that because I don't want to, as I say, give anything away. I think that's going to be kind of my standard phrase throughout. But then we go on to the enemies. Now with the enemies, we'll show you this first one again. This is not giving anything away too much because this is something you'll come across quite quickly. So it just tells you there what weapons they use, the attack types, health and damage, and a little bit of information about them, and an image as well. And then we've obviously got all the different sorts of enemies there. And then, again, I don't want to go, so it's not too many. And then we have A Survivor is Born, and it's just sort of giving you a little introduction to the sort of walkthrough section of the guide. So we're starting off here at the very first section. So again, I'm just going to show you so you can see how it's laid out, and then you'll have to assume, you'll assume the rest of it, because I don't want to show you too much so that, again, I don't give anything away. So we're starting here with section 1, and it says, current location, gives the name, gives you where on the map, so you get that little, here's the island, and this is the little section that we're dealing with. Then we have the actual close-up part of the map of that section and where you'll be going, and it says start, finish, ammo, arrows, salvage, etc. So it'll tell you exactly where things are to collect, etc. And then if it's got camps, documents, relics, challenges, GPS and treasure maps, those are your collectibles. So that's about that, and it's basically on this section here, there's nothing for you. And then it just gives a little bit of a story as to what has happened in this section, and again, I won't want to show you too much on that, because even at that very beginning part, we want to try and keep it as a nice surprise if you haven't played. And then it just continues on with the story so that you've got the walkthrough and exactly what you need to do for that whole section. And then you get to the next section and it does the same thing. It has the map, the close-up map, and then it starts on the actual walkthrough part of that. And so we go through all of that right all the way up to here and the next chapter. So it was quite a nice big section. You've got a lot of information on that, so plenty there to look at and enjoy. So now we've got the collectibles, so it then just goes through here, first of all, say relics, and then it goes through the different locations and what you can find in those locations. You can see here, for example, it says coastal forest, and then it's got a picture, it's got the title of the item that you're going to find. I'm not going too close so you can see it, and then it just tells you how specifically to find that item, and it even gives a little picture as well, and then it goes on to the next one, etc. And then the next areas So then that's all of, say, those ones. Then it goes to documents and does the same thing again. So this part, I think, is especially handy if you're into really getting all your collectibles, because some of those were really fiddly to find, and you're like, there must be, that, you know that there's another one there because the map on the game tells you how many you're looking for, and then you're like, I've only got one more, where on earth is it? So after we finished with the collectibles, we go on to multiplayer, which actually, I have to be honest, I didn't even remember there was a multiplayer element to this game. It's not something I ever personally use, but I know a lot of people like it. So it goes into the details of how that works and the basics, the same really as you do at the beginning of the book, about, you know, all the different like roll, climbing, melee, etc. So there's all of that, reviving a teammate, etc, etc. Creating a match, it says, joining a match, all of that. Then it talks about the different multiplayer characters, and then it goes into the different loadouts and the different weapons with their statistics. So that's the basic gun for that shotgun, and then these are the stats with those specific upgrades, and then it does the same for all of those different weapons right through to long way, and then you go to your loadout skills, so all the way to there, and then game modes, so different match options, survivor objectives, survivor strategy, all of that sort of stuff that means nothing to me, and I think this is still part of the multiplayer. It's talking about something that's underground. It's not something I recognise, so I'm assuming that this is something to do with the multiplayer. All of this areas here, quite a lot of information about the multiplayer, and then we get to achievements and trophies. Always something I think that people that are particularly wanting to be a completionist find helpful, because it sort of tells you what you're looking for, and it you know, helps you make sure you know if you've missed something what it is, because sometimes that can be a real pain. So for example, just go right to that very first section there. Again, hopefully that's not giving anything too much away, and that just sets that out for you for an example. And then it talks about combat and the different elements that you need to achieve in order to get a particular trophy, etc. for that. And then extras, we've got game completion. After completing the story, Lara's placed back at the camp. Now you can fast travel at any time, blah blah blah. So it just tells you some information about that. Then we've got some concept art, and it just says about they're unlocked in the game, and then information about the characters with regard to that concept art. Concept models, again same thing, they're unlocked in the game. And then other products, it says, that you can get, and information about the publisher. And that is the end of the book. So as you can see, it's a really nice quality book. It's got loads of information in it, lots of stats, lots of information for walkthroughs, trophies, lots of stuff about the multiplayer, and just really interesting to read, I think. So I hope you enjoyed taking a look at this one with me, and I hope you will join me for the others. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now. Bye.